What's up, Lego fam? I'm Justin, and you're watching Good Life Bricks. Today, we're going to talk about Yoda. This is Lego Star Wars set 7194, Yoda UCS. It launched January 1st of 2002 and retired December 31st of 2003. So it's been a good 2 years on the shelves. It sold for $99 and had 1,075 pieces. Today, it's valued at around $450 new in box and around $200 used. So it's got a great value and it's continued to increase in value. It's a good set. It's an old set and it looks like an older set. They've made a lot of changes in the way that they create Yoda, especially in the face, as we've seen in other sets. But I think this holds up pretty well and I think it looks good still today. And I'm excited to display it. My plan is to put it right here where Jabba's palace is and let him watch us work every day. I'm excited to talk about this one. This was one of those I remember it well type sets. Although I'll have to tell you, and you'll see this if you watch the speed build video, and I have one of those coming out tomorrow, but it was a hard build. It wasn't easy. And it's funny because the Lego instructions were from the top down, which I think makes sense given all of the character and all of the texture that this build has. But looking at it from top down creates a new challenge when you're trying to build Lego. And you'll see that in the speed build. So please don't forget, if you like the video, hit that like button for me. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my content. And let's go ahead and dig in. So here is Lego Star Wars set 7194 Yoda UCS from 2002. I think as you look, as we get a little closer, there's some really cool details here. Check out the cane and the way it curves. We remember Yoda's cane from Empire Strikes Back, and that's a great detail. Yoda's hands resting on the top of the cane with his long fingernails, and this one finger, and I can't, and maybe it's his thumb just kind of hanging down from behind. But in my mind, I can't get over the fact that there's this big gap here. And I don't know how his thumb gets there. And maybe it's just, hanging down from behind, like I said. You also have his feet down here, and you can see 3 of his toes. I like that. A separate piece is this thing that he wears around his neck. And I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it just rests right there. His head turns and swivels, which is nice. And then the layers and the complexity and the texture of his cloak that he's wearing. And the sleeves, the way they droop and hang open, and it's hollow all the way back in there. You get a real sense for the depth that exists there. And then if you turn it around, the hood on his cloak, the way they built that was pretty nice. There's one kind of cool thing. They have this old Lego brick. I have 2 of those bricks, and I'm glad they put it on the back because it would be disruptive if it was more visible. The way that they did his ears was kind of cool. They left open spots on the side of his head, and the ears are built just like this. And they just set on this little platform there and pop back into place. So that's kind of neat. The way that they did his eyes is kind of cool too. And they've changed a lot about the way they've done it in the past. But from a little bit of a distance, it looks like you're seeing the whites of his eyes and then the pupils. These pieces are those ball socket. And then this is actually the gray ball that goes inside the white socket. And then there's a black stud that is pushed into that ball backwards. And then they gave you a black line right here for the mouth. And then they gave you those 1x2 rail pieces so it gives you the look of lips there. And then they gave a lot of texture on the head. There's a lot of studs on this, and I just think that's great. That's the way Lego used to work. It was the whole celebration of Lego. I mean, it's a Lego set, and so there should be studs, and so, that's what we get. Nowadays, you see a lot more smooth pieces, not all the time, but there is more of that, and there are people, I think, that clamor for that a little bit more, and that's okay. I like the look of Lego. I mean, it's a Lego set, and you ought to see some studs. And then you see his undergarments in the dark orange here. all the way down here, and then a little green where his feet are, green where his hands are, and then the light gray where his nails are. So I think they did a really good job of covering, all of the right bases. They hit all the colors that you would expect, and I thought they did a really nice job overall giving you a sense of depth with the gaps here. Think about the Jedi cloaks. Think about the one that Obi-Wan wore, especially back in the prequels. They were so wide and open, and this gives you that sense just how wide and open they are, and how it kind of just bunches up as it comes to the ground. And then even back here on the back where it's, dragging on the ground. I think that gives you a real sense of realism. And I really appreciate that. I think it looks nice. As we get a little bit closer here, the set is older, and as you look at the face, it's not as advanced as some of the stuff today, but the design is a good one. I'm not sure why they gave us gaps here, the little gaps, like that gap. I'm not sure why they did that, and it was intentional, because the pieces that are there are flat plate pieces with no studs on them. So there's intentionality behind it, but I'm not sure I really understand it. I understand these here with the mouth, and again, that's not a gap well, it is, because those are rails, but that's a black piece for the mouth. And I understand the gaps here with the ears, because they want it to look like the inner portion of the ear, but I don't understand those. So that maybe gives you a sense of the age a little bit, but boy, is this a good display piece. I actually think this is at least as good a display piece as any of the other, or as the other full-size Yoda that we got a few years ago with him holding his lightsaber. It's definitely older. It's definitely got some age to it, and some of that may be because of all the studs that it's showing. The newer one just doesn't have that much in terms of studs. So here, for purposes of comparison, I brought in Lego Star Wars set 75255. This is Yoda from 2019. Obviously, he has his lightsaber, and that's a pretty good build itself. I've never reviewed this set, so it's something I might want to take a look at doing. But you see a lot of similarity. You've got his brown undergarment here. You've got his cloak. You've got the open sleeves, just like here. These are of a similar size, but you've got a lot more detail in the hands. You've got these, each of his fingers, each of his digits with a nail on the end of it. The nails are a tan, not a light brown. So that's a difference. And you see quite a bit of detail here on the feet. And then, like I said, there's no studs here. It does make a difference with all of this, the studs here. It does look, I think, maybe just a little bit older. And it could be, again, the design. The difference in the eyes, they use a couple of those inverted dish plates for eyelids on the bottom and on the top, and then they put the white inverted dishes for the pupils, and then a clear piece over that. So the eyes are maybe a little bit more detailed. The texture of the face with the mouth that comes out with a little bit of a muzzle, and then a little less ear than on the older one. But there's a lot of similarities. Like, they do a good job, maybe even more detailed with the hood portion, and then they gave him hair as well. So as you noticed earlier, you've got the hood, but we don't have any hair there. So both of them are good. One definitely looks newer, and that's the one from 2019. And it just shows the advancement that you see over the years. And I think this is great. I think this is the kind of comparison that we should be able to make. I like them both. I really do. And again, if you were to put them side by side, and maybe I need to do that, then you see the advancement that Lego has made. And that's part of what I love about Lego. It's part of what I love about what they do with the minifigures. And I've been featuring some occasional minifigure videos or shorts just to show you some of that advancement, because there is a lot that has changed in Lego over the years. And most of it, honestly, is for the better. I think it's summed up well right here. You've got a little more refinement in 2019 than you had in 2002. But the spirit is the same. The overall look is similar. Obviously, this is Yoda from the prequels, and this is Yoda from Dagobah. So there's years that separate those two. We never saw Yoda with his lightsaber until episode 2, when he fought Count Dooku. I think The one from 2002 is fantastic, and I think we just see improvements in certain areas. I think that's what you should expect as a company is involved in a franchise like Star Wars for 25 plus years. You should expect to see that level of improvement. And so I think we are seeing that, and I'm pleased. I'm very pleased. And when I do these kind of comparisons, I remember how pleased I am with the overall improvements. So we all know and love Yoda. And I think for this video, to be able to show you this Lego Star Wars set from 2002 is really a thrill. And to be able to have gotten it put back together out of storage, it was a good time. And so I'm glad I was able to do it. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the comparison between 2002 and 2019. That 17-year period, a lot has happened and a lot has changed. And I think we can see it in sets like these. So I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you got something out of it and that it was a fun experience for you. If you did, please hit that like button for me. And don't forget to subscribe with this circle right here so that you don't miss any content. Please leave me feedback. If you have any questions or anything, I respond to all of my comments and will continue to do so as long as I'm able. Thanks again for being here. I look forward to seeing you again soon.